Yeah, so this worksheet is slightly different than the other ones. We're still using sine function, but this one is finding the area of a triangle, which is usually, area of triangle is usually 1/2 times base times height. That's the usual stuff. But if you notice, it's 1/2 times base times c instead of h, and then sine of a. Why is that? Because the angle is 99 degrees. In order for you to call the 7 as a height, you need a 90 degrees. Height has to be perpendicular to the ground. But in this case, it's slanted. So if you look at like number 3 is really slanted, right? The 4 is really slanted. But so base is 8, but the height is not there. Height is actually straight down from the top to the bottom, and we don't have that length. So instead of using h, what we're using is the third side, which is a c, side B and side C, and we adjust it by multiplying by sine of the angle between them. So that's the formula. So it comes from 1/2 times base times height, but the height is not there, so we use the another third side, and we times it by the sine of the angle in between them. And please note the angle has to be between the two sides that you're using. So 8 and 7 is the two sides that you're using, and I want to use the angle that's between those two sides, which is 99 degrees in this case. Okay, so to find the area, right, they both have capital A. First A is area, and then last A is the angle. So to find the area of a triangle, you start with the 1/2 times base, which is 8, times another side, 7, times the sine of the angle between the 8 and 7, which happens to be 99 degrees. Okay, so you put that into the calculator. In cell phone calculator, you have probably start with the 99 and then press sine and then press 7 times 8 equals and then divided by 2. But eventually you're going to get 27.65, but it says rounded to the nearest 10th place. So 6 goes up to a 7. So that's the answer. Okay, so let's try number 3. Again, the 4 cannot be the height. It's very slanted, but it's okay because we're going to be adjusting that by using the angle 142 degrees. So two sides that we'll be using is 5 and 4, and the angle that you'll be using is 142. So the area is 1/2 times, well, looks like base 5, but doesn't have to be base. You're going to see in a minute that doesn't have to be in the bottom, or could be any length. So any length of the triangle, 5 times 4, two sides, and then times by the sine of the angle between them. So we don't have to find the height, which you need to find the area of a triangle. We just need the two sides and angle between those two sides. Okay, you don't need a 90 degree anywhere. So if you multiply this out, I guess you could do 1 divided by 2 times 5 times 4, and then times 142 sine equals. So you could do it that way, but I don't know. Cell phone calculators are weird. In either case, you get 6.25, or I'm sorry, 6.15. If you round it, 6.2 would be the answer, because the next number is 5. 6.1 goes up 1, 6.2. Okay, one more. How about number 7? So this time I don't have the base. There's nothing there. It doesn't matter because the formula says it doesn't have to be base. It only has to be the two sides of the triangle. These are two sides of a triangle, and then the angle between those two sides. So you need those 3 numbers, and 3 numbers are there. So there's angle right here, 145, and then there are two sides, 4 and 2. So we don't need the bottom side. So it's just going to be 4 times 2, which is two sides of a triangle, times the angle between the 4 and the 2, which happens to be 145. So calculator, just type it all in, and you should get about 2.29. So 2.29, so 2.3. Rounded to the 10th place. Okay, just one more. Just want to show you. So number 15. What are the two sides? Well, there's 7 and there's 3. So there's a length of 7 and there's a length of 3. And what's the angle between them? Well, this square box right here says it must be 90 degrees. So if you press sine of 90 into the calculator, what you're going to get is 1. So it just turns out to be, well, do you need to do times 1 in the calculator? No, just times 1 is just times 1. So it just doesn't do anything. So it turns out to be exactly the formula for the base times height. So 3 is the height in this case. So sine of 90 magically disappears. Okay, so if you work this out, you're going to get 10.5 exactly. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's a 90 degree or 89 degrees or 150 degrees, it doesn't matter. As long as you use the angle between the two sides, you would get the right answer. Okay, that's it.